some things were clearly all mine. Like when I would go out with them, but yeah, I'm just like that. Maybe a cool $100 if that, even if I find all the stuff. I told my husband, I came all these in because she said, I didn't get it. So, I mean, I wouldn't even do it. She's like, you got anything for me? And I was like, she just send it to you.
So your birthday
she don't say. She said, well,
Yeah,
her email
yeah.
address, and I'll reach out
Joy
to
turned
her.
66.
I'm just 3 behind. I was 63.
63.
I know.
Yeah.
See.
So we had a good day.
I'll tell you what, it was a nice weekend, wasn't
Oh
it?
my God, you couldn't have had a better weekend for a birthday.
Yeah.
If you didn't get outside and enjoy the weather.
It was.
Normally she's good about
It was as good as it gets.
There's a
It was a
kid.
beautiful weekend.
We got 4 minutes, Leanne. Anyway, his mom had all the
Every time I see you guys walking, I'm driving.
For some reason, it's not working. So instead of walking, I need to
so
learn
it
to
wasn't
run.
generating, so they stopped it. Basically, I'm not going to do that. I can't create that or.
Andrew was going to get me the names of the netball champs.
So, but she's freaking out because tomorrow, the senior, like you can pick up your cap and gown, she doesn't have the 286 or whatever. And I'm like, reach out to Chris Walker. She's like, the day is over. And I was like, I'll talk to them tonight. Well, I was going to just say something to Chuck, really, but I'm like, that was helpful.
Hey, did you ever get the name of the new netball
Only
champs?
people in this town help who they want to help. And I'm like, it is a lot of money.
Can you just print it out and
Don't
hand it to
try to
me?
guilt. I understand your
Thank you.
frustration.
Okay,
but
thanks.
No worries, I just didn't know. I was sitting over here kind of.
She wanted to, that's the thing. She wanted to remain anonymous because she doesn't want her son to be embarrassed. Like, I get that. But then when there's no connection, then it makes it like, is this real? Is
Well,
it
thanks. I
whatever.
saw
So I
that.
said,
We're going to
run it
probably
through
be getting more
Bearcat Mom.
because we have other groups.
We fed her like we did all the time.
No, each one has to submit it on their own.
Yes. And it did go in there, but it's still, again, it didn't say.
And so,
it said single mom.
and then some of it they'll have to put in some of their own. The school level information, we're the only ones
that
who have
those
access to
words.
that.
She gets reached out to me. Like not just for this piece, but like and all this stuff.
Okay, because we won't submit it, they have to submit it. So I will be sending it back to them
Every day,
different
for
names.
like so many
Yeah.
weeks, taking dinner, all the stuff. I'm like, I said, but I'll talk to these folks and ask what resources, what you should do. I'm like, they're not going to let them. Oh yeah, you cannot. Turn my phone off. Did roll call you? She said, everybody needs to come in. Come over here. You go in the office and ask the lady to the tape from Monday the 25th.
I think that's it on that report. I know I said, last time I said something in the middle, I was like, that's not a good way to do it.
They did not care. They were fighting her. I'm watching her, trying to get her safety. And they mobbed us all. They could care less. She's like, a couple of them have like 8. Just too much. I just want you to come in. Talk to them and say, I just want to look at video footage from Monday, April 25th. Yeah. And she said, have them start.
Let's call our meeting to order. We can all stand and have a moment of silence. Thank you. I understand we have some students from Grissom that are here. It's going to lead us in the pledge. You can step up maybe to the mic there.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Boy, that was excellent.
Yeah.
Nice and strong. All right, our roll call. Mr. Williams is absent tonight. I am here. Mr. Heater.
Present.
Mrs. Bales. Mrs. Barnes Griffin.
Present.
Mr. Irvin.
Present.
Mr. Lowe.
Present.
All right, great. Thank you very much. I would like to, before I turn it over to Mrs. Charles, I want to just express, Mr. Williams contacted me and said he just wanted everybody who has had some thoughts and prayers for him he wanted to thank you for that, and he appreciates all the thoughts and prayers. So thank you. All right, Mrs. Charles, you have it.
Okay, well, this will change just a little bit since President Williams is not here. Good evening, Dr. K, cabinet members, and members of the board. My name is Brittany Charles, and I am proud to speak with you tonight about our current orbit at Grissom Elementary School, home of the Astros, and our future flight plans to continue moving forward. Grissom is home to 400 general education, 65 special education, 32 pre-K, and 4 virtual students. Our enrollment has remained the same from last year to this year. 35 teachers and 23 support staff, including our school psychologist, Dr. Hatfield, make up the team that supports the needs of our students and family within our Grissom community. Grissom houses the district's cross-categorical and applied skills special education programs, along with 2 level 3 rating pass to quality pre-K classrooms. We offer volleyball, boys and girls basketball, and track to our 4th and 5th grade students. Our 5th grade boys basketball team were the city runner-up this year. The commanders of our instructional leadership team are Ellen Nolan, master teacher, Julie Harvey, mentor teacher, Laura Kingsley, who is the district's mentor teacher, Dixie Denton is our Ball State PDS liaison, and Melissa Blossom is our NIET coach. These individuals meet with me on a weekly basis to discuss our current mission objectives and to develop future flight plans with the goal of increasing student achievement. They provide various levels of support to classroom teachers, such as observation and feedback, co-teaching, and modeling to strengthen instructional delivery. We feel confident in Dr. K's reading initiatives with the implementation of Fontes and Pinnell. Our iReady data showed us that we wanted to see an increase in proficiency percentages in nonfiction reading comprehension and phonics. In math, our mission objective is to achieve 30% proficiency in grades 3rd, 4th, and 5th on our iLearn assessment. Daily, students are engaged in iReady pathway lessons in both reading and math, spiral review morning work, fact fluency drill, and direct math and reading instruction with a focus on power standards in all grade levels, kindergarten through 5th. Weekly, teachers attend professional learning community meetings with myself and our mentor and master teacher. The focus of these PLCs are to address student and teacher needs through professional development, focusing on math and reading instruction. We take observations from the classroom to plan the PLC opportunities. Monthly, teachers give students pre- and post-tests that focus on power standards in both reading and math. The pre-tests allow our teachers to see where their instructional focus should be for the month, and the post-tests help us see the progress over the month in areas where there is still a need for improvement. Teachers also attend Charles Chats with Me, where we discuss monthly their iReady data by student and reading levels. Teachers track progress on charts during PLC meetings. You may remember, I think I'm off the slide. Let me move one. Oh, I don't think my Project Lead the Way slide is on there. Oh, there it is. You may remember, it was off to the right, I'm sorry. At last year's presentation, I played a video that highlighted students engaged in Project Lead the Way modules. Project Lead the Way continues this year to be a highlight in our students' day. They work together in small groups to develop plans, solve real-world problems, build important social emotional skills, and think critically. A new addition at Grissom this year has been the implementation of working with Marian University and the City Connects program to bring a family navigator to us. Ramed Page is a product of Muncie Community Schools. He has made a tremendous impact in his first year, completing needs assessments and plans for all students in our building, running multiple social emotional learning groups, working with families to provide them with food, coats, summer programming, counseling, medical assistance, and the list goes on. He has made over 200 home visits this year as we focus on relationships with our families. He is a team player and someone that can be depended on by our staff, students, and families. Grissom Gold is now in its second year of implementation and is serving 34 students in grades kindergarten through 5th grade after school. This year, the students are engaged in Lit Learn, a reading instruction designed to address learning loss. A new program that was unique to Grissom this year is what I call GLBL, which stands for the Grissom Leadership Basketball League. This program was created and implemented by Dr. Hatfield. Students in grades kindergarten through 3rd grade were given the opportunity to play in a non-competitive basketball league during the months of January and February. Each team included at least one student with special needs. The focus of the league is to develop students' social and emotional skills while learning basic basketball fundamentals. It was a great opportunity for teachers to attend games and interact with families in a non-academic setting. We are excited about the future of this program and the opportunities it provides for our students and families. And there's a little bit more information about that. Even though our orbit is not always smooth, Grissom is a resilient team dedicated to the completion of our mission objectives. I have no doubt that we will get there because spaceships do not come with rearview mirrors, so astronauts are always looking ahead and not behind. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you all this evening. Are there any questions for me? I was that good? You have a question? What's your question, Laura? Well, once a year. Usually once a year, Grissom comes and presents, so maybe next year you'll get asked to come again.
We're here twice a month. You can come.
You can come anytime you want.
That's too good.
So Brittany, I would just like to say, I know that we have family navigators in school, and Ramed is the one that is at your school. And we have regular meetings with Marian University because our family navigators are trained by them. And if they could pick Ramed up and move him to Indianapolis, they would. So we are very, very fortunate for the great things that he's doing. I know you showed many wonderful things at your school, but I really wanted to pay special attention to him. And then I also saw that Tamika walked in, so Tamika thinks we're not going to acknowledge her. But we've just recently asked Tamika to serve in a pilot role at both Grissom and EWA. They have so many students in both those schools and a lot of need, and Tamika has a great elementary background. And so I know that she's already making a difference being in your schools, so I appreciate seeing you come tonight to support Grissom also.
Yes.
Excellent. Any other questions, comments?
No, it's amazing he spent 200 visits, 200 homes?
Yes.
Well received, I assume?
I would say so,
Yeah.
yes. So we
Well, for most of them, yeah.
we strive very
Right.
much to get out into the community and to get in contact with our families if we aren't able to contact them through phone or email. So he will do home visits for anything as such as attendance concerns, academic concerns, if we need forms signed, field trips signed, IEP documents signed. We really are trying to remove any barrier that can exist to helping our students achieve at school. So he's kind of our go-to for that.
Excellent. It's probably what you're referring to. It takes a little finesse to figure out how to maneuver through
He's
that.
very good at
Yeah.
what he does.
Good. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you. I know you see me in your building a lot because I have my university practicum students there. But it feels very much like going home when I go to Grissom. I was at Grissom Astro, and it's no secret that houses some of my favorite students with the special ed program there. So I just want to say thank you for always being welcoming and letting me hang out with some of those kiddos and check in on my practicum students. It's definitely one of my favorite buildings to visit.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Thank you. Uh-oh, I have a question over here.
Okay.
Well, I just want to say, I'm a single parent, grandparent now, and I've had the children for 6 years. And if it wasn't for Grissom and the staff there, I don't know if I can make it. But they are very, very well accepted there, and you guys do a great job.
Yeah. We love having your babies.
That is excellent. Excellent. All right, well, we have a recap. The senior trip.
Looked like fun.
Yeah. Pictures are exciting.
All right. I promised I would come back after we went on the trip, and we made it home safe and with everyone. So these are the ones that could make it. Lots of stuff going on tonight. I think there were games and meets and stuff. So they were able to make it. And they're just going to tell you a little bit about the trip and some of our experiences. I just threw together some of the highlights of the trip. It was, if you wanted to see all the pictures, I think I took about 1,000 pictures. So I didn't want to include all those. So I'll let them come up. You guys make sure you introduce yourselves. Okay, Jen Jensen went with me on the trip this year, so you'll see her in the pictures as well. I think I put some of our selfies. Okay. All right, who wants to go first? Oh, come on. Don't make me pick. Colleen, I'll pick on you since you picked on me in class.
I did. Hi, I'm Colleen Kinney. Okay, so first we went to the Lincoln Memorial, and then we went to the Vietnam War Memorial. We went to the Capitol building. I think it just opened the day that we were there, which was really cool.
Yeah,
It was perfect
we were the
timing.
first large group allowed in. Thank you, Todd Young.
Wow.
I just happened at the last minute, a couple weeks before the trip, I took a chance. I emailed their office and said, we'd really, really like to get in. And she contacted me back right away and said, I think we got you in. You're our first school group to go through. So tell me a little bit about what we were allowed to do.
We got to go on like this underground like train thing. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, so there's the Congress subway, like it's the
Yeah.
one that they use. Yeah.
It was cool. And we took like a guided tour with like headsets on. And then, oh yeah, here it is, the subway cars.
Yeah, and his assistant, like one of his staffers, was with us the whole time. Like she stayed with us throughout the whole tour, so it was really cool.
Yeah. Then we went to the World War II Memorial. Then we went to the White House and not the National Guard, but there was a guard outside the Oval Office, which meant that Biden was actually there the day that we were there. And it also was the day that Obama was there too, so that was really cool.
We didn't find that out until like an hour
Yeah.
later. We saw on Twitter that he was in there for, it was an Affordable Care
Wow.
Act, like the anniversary of it or something. And so we were like, darn it! But we didn't know, not that he would have come out.
Too bad. That would have been cool. Then we went to Arlington, which was a lot of walking, but it was pretty cool.
First day walking.
Yeah, it was the first day. They made 15 miles that first day.
Yeah, we definitely did.
2,000 steps, I think we had.
We got to see the changing of the guard, which was really cool. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. That was cool. Then we went to the MLK Memorial, where ABC News was actually like shooting something there. I don't think they were figured out what they were doing.
It's an anniversary of one of the speeches that first day.
Oh,
So they were
okay.
there. I found it. I have to send it to you guys.
Okay. That's cool.
You guys get more people.
Yeah, unless it's just me. I don't care. Does anybody else? Yes.
You can just stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to. Oh yeah.
My name's Sophia Brandt. I'm Maddie, Madison Thornton. I'm Rose Williams. I'm Michaela Vicchioli.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to go there in the middle of the cherry blossoms blooming.
That was awesome.
It was. It was really pretty. Oh, we just.
4 hours later.
Yeah, we went to New York. We got to go to the Empire State Building, which was probably my favorite part of it. It was really cool looking out and being that high up. It's kind of creepy, but if you didn't think
Looks like it's a
about
little cold.
it was really cold.
And kind of misty, wasn't it? So
Mhm.
it was interesting to see, like, the clouds were really low, so we couldn't see the tops of all the buildings.
Yeah. Yep, here's more Empire State Building. Then we went to the Central Park fountain. Central Park was a lot of walking too.
Yes.
But it was pretty. Except for the rain. Was that it?
I don't know, was it?
Oh, no, it's not. Yeah, here we go. Times Square.
Times Square.
We all love Times Square. Not
Mhm.
even 5 minutes off the bus, I was dancing with strangers, which was pretty fun.
She was.
Personally, as like the group that we all split up into different groups, I think that's us on the top right. But we got to walk around for a bit, and it was so cool to like see everyone's reactions, to see all the strangers out asking for money while doing cool things like dancing and taking photos. We got to explore other stores. The M&M store was a big hit for a lot of the kids. We really enjoyed seeing all the lights and how busy Manhattan can get at that time of night, and it was very gorgeous.
Mhm. Next is the Statue of Liberty. We got to take a ferry to Ellis Island and Liberty Island, which were both really cool. I liked the ferry. It was fun.
Once again, freezing.
Yeah,
It was freezing.
It was still enjoyable.
Mhm.
I think Ellis Island was really cool. And you hear about everything, so just to see it in person was really enjoyable. That was definitely my favorite part. It was so cool just getting to actually see it in person. It's like so big, so cool.
A lot of history.
Yeah. Then Rockefeller Square. There's a lot of shopping there.
Swanky shopping.
Yeah.
Fifth Avenue.
Stuff that you couldn't spend, you couldn't
Couldn't
afford.
afford anything, but we saw it.
Yeah, a lot of looking, no spending. Oh yeah, the subway. That was fun. It went really fast, faster than I thought it was gonna go.
Yeah.
Luckily I was sitting down, so it was okay.
Orange, Snyder's least favorite day. Try to get 31 people on one subway car at the same time without leaving anyone behind.
It did work though.
It worked out.
The 9/11 Memorial. That one was also cool. I didn't know how big it was actually was.
I showed him, I had him come over and see Gary's name. Gary Bright, who is, I mean, obviously you guys probably know, Southside graduate. Do we still have the scholarship fund? Does his family still do that? I know they did it for a while after, but he was in the South Tower. And so every year when I go and take a picture of where his name is.
Then we went to the Oculus and Washington Square.
Washington Square, I remembered because we got to look at little vendors where I got my earrings actually. Yeah. It
And
was
they had a
really
bunch of performers and stuff there too, didn't they?
Yeah.
People were
It
doing
was
all
a
kinds
really
of stuff.
nice day, so there were a lot of people out, and it was just cool to see like their normal life there. I mean, that was just what they were doing day to day, and we were just there to see it. Yeah, we want to thank everybody for making the trip possible.
Anything else you guys want to add?
Yeah, just a massive thank you because obviously there are other schools and places who don't get the opportunity to make such an extravagant senior trip like we do. It's not only is it very educational, but it's so nice and enjoyable, and you create like a core memory, if you will, because as a large group of kids that you practically like, grown up at this point, you get to go out and you see everyone's true personality and how they interact with different parts of the world. And New York, obviously being such a diverse area, it was so enjoyable and refreshing to be able to hang out with new friends and peers and teachers, and to be able to just experience life in a different way. So thank you for that. Yeah.
What were your favorite parts? A couple of you said it, but
Mine definitely was the Statue of Liberty, like I said. It was so awesome to actually see it, like, in front of you. Mine was probably the Empire State Building, just because, like, it's the thing I remember most, I feel like, because it's just so incredible to, like, look out and see so much of the city. And, like, it's breathtaking, not because, obviously, it's so windy, but just breathtaking the second you walk out there, and it's just, I don't know, it was different than I imagined, and it was great.
So remind me again, this was all done by bus? You traveled by bus?
Yes.
I gotta believe the journey alone was probably,
That's what I wanted to
yeah,
ask.
it was just probably
Oh,
remarkable.
yeah. The bus ride was amazing. We had so much fun back.
Yes, they enjoyed it. We just stayed up front and, yeah.
Cool.
They were very well behaved. I mean, it's really interesting to see them away from school and how mature they are, and they really were. Like, they were very responsible. We gave them a lot of free time, a lot of time to go explore, and they were very responsible, very mature. And that's what's enjoyable to us, just kind of they're taking flight and having those new experiences. It's really neat to see.
Well, we know there's a commitment level by our staff, Julie and Jen, to take day and night and be with students and give them this opportunity. So we're thrilled our students were able to experience it. And I wanted to thank both of you too for being chaperones.
Now, having said that, I'm transitioning to Jen for next year, and we are going to try to fly. We found a trip that's not much more expensive than this one, and it's flying. And I think that it would be a huge benefit. I don't know how well it'll be received by the kids, but I know the adults.
That's what I do, guys.
That's all me. Talking on that bus. I get motion sick. I can't do it. Michaela knows she's one of my cheerleaders, so she knows that it's no smells, no food. Talk me on this bus ride. You're okay. So, but thanks again. If it wasn't for you guys, and this year was a huge year, lots of donations, and so many people with money. We, like I told you when I came before, 12 kids either partially paid for or fully funded, and so we had a lot of good donations this year. It's great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right, wonderful. Moving on, Dr. K.
Well, I always have to give a plug that registration is open, and anybody who's watching, either re-enroll your children, or if you're new, come on in and get them registered. I wanted to share that DIA has arranged for field trips for our fourth graders and fifth graders. Our fourth grade students will be going to Ivy Tech and having an opportunity to see what Ivy Tech is like and experiencing the chefs from Ivy Tech will make them a wonderful lunch, and so they'll enjoy that. And then that's just a half-day field trip. And then our fifth grade students are going to be spending a day at Ball State University, and they have multiple places they'll be going on campus. And it's just, we believe that if we start young and get kids acclimated to college campuses, that is just going to be better for everybody. And so Dia has worked on this. It's been on her mind to do for a couple of years now that COVID's over. I was really pleased when she was able to get all that arranged. So thank you, Dia. I wanted to note that next week is Teacher Appreciation Week, and so we will, I know our schools will be recognizing teachers in different ways, and we always support all of our work of our teachers. E-learning days. We thought we were going to be finished with e-learning days, and then we learned that some of our schools are still going to be used as voting sites. We tried to get them to move to other locations such as churches, and they moved a few of them, but not all of them. So we'll have 5 schools that on May 3rd will be implementing e-learning rather than coming in person, and that's Southside, Southview, Longfellow, Westview, and Northview. So those principals will work with those families to help them understand what it means for e-learning, which we should have that down. We know when to get online and what happens, so that will be taking place on May 3rd. Our high school bands and choirs had a concert competition last weekend, and they earned gold, which we're always thrilled with that.
Yeah.
And then the top high school band will compete Friday at Warren Central. And so we wish them a lot of luck, and we know that they'll present well for Muncie Central. I wanted to name some students from EWA that were the Math Bowl champs. So there are different classes now, like class basketball. So the classes are based on size, and East Washington Academy is in the red class. So there were up to 115 schools that were in this pool for their competition, and EWA finished 9th in all the classes, not just the red class, but all of them. So we did really well. So those students were Maya Boltz, Graham Bosey, Matthew Fink, Venus Hampton, J.C. Latham, David Miller, Shiloh Ramos, Aurora Thorpe, Caleb Vanderbilt, Evan Bueller, Ainsley Fallon, Asher Ramos, and Nathan Roshan. And so we are very proud of our students, and we always like when they have opportunities to go out and compete, and then not only compete, but then do really well for us.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Do we have any public comments at all? Nobody signed up?
No,
Nobody?
not tonight.
Okay. Cool. All right. So we're going to move to the consent agenda, and I do want to just make mention a couple of things. We have a new Director of Secondary Education. Mr. Grimm is here. I want to give him an opportunity to say a few words if he wants to.
Yeah, you're not just going to sit there, Mr. Graham. we're going to get working you already.
Dr. K, Board, I'm just honored that Dr. K thinks that I'm able to do this job. I've been in Muncie. I'll start my 25th year next year, all in Muncie Community Schools. I've had a variety of positions, most of those at Northside Middle School, from being a teacher to assistant principal to the principal for the last 5 years. Also served in the elementary and Title I, so I have a lot of experiences, and I'm to a point where I'm ready to move on and do something different and to impact maybe a larger portion of schools, the high school and the 2 middle schools and the Career Center. And it also gives me a chance to learn something new. So I'll be learning a little bit more about the high school than what I currently know, the Career Center, the Youth Opportunity Center, some of those things that I've worked with as partners, but being a little more impactful there. So I really appreciate Dr. K and Dr. Reynolds and everyone thinking that this is a good position for me. I'm very excited to do it. And, I've enjoyed working in Muncie Community Schools for the last 25 years and will plan to continue until I retire. So thank you. For another 25. Ooh, I don't know about 25. Maybe 15. So.
Excellent
Awesome.
choice.
Thank you.
Yeah, excellent.
Thank you.
We also have here Mr. Raiders. He's here, and we want you to say a few words. He's a permanent principal at Southside now, Southside Middle School.
Thank you. I want to first thank Mr. Grimm for not making public comment about me being named to this position firmly. But in all seriousness, thank you for the opportunity. We have worked very hard, and we do think we have things going in the right direction. I will caution all of you that changing a school is like turning around an aircraft carrier, and we're starting to turn, but it's not, we're not going to turn like a zero-turn mower. A lot of work to do, but the people are the reason that I've decided to stay. I really enjoy working with Dr. K, Dr. Reynolds, Mr. Grimm, Mr. Walker, and knowing that I get to continue to work with Mr. Grimm and now with him as kind of another boss to me is great. And Dia, Rhonda, and others, Dylan. Just and then obviously the people in our school, unbelievably dedicated professionals who want nothing but the best for our kids and are willing to go above and beyond for them. So looking forward to the next few months, getting ready for the next school year, and obviously concluding this school year on a positive note. So thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
It's easy. What can we do to help in any way over there? I hear bits and pieces of how things are going in a general way, but how things are going and what can we do to maybe help?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. I'd start first by saying that, again, we've had unbelievable help and support from central office administration. There are days when we're short on subs and or administrators out of the building for this or that, and Dr. Reynolds, Dr. K, others sending reinforcements into the building. To the heart of your question, I would say that I've got a list of work items to try to figure out over the course of the once we get through this school year, really start planning for next year. So I'll have better answers for that after those work sessions with our staff. Again, Mr. Grimm in his new role, Dr. Reynolds, Dr. K. So I'm going to hold off on fully answering that, but I'll be back to maybe ask for some things more specifically.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your
Anybody
commitment,
else?
Mike.
Yes. Pardon me?
Thank you for your commitment. to it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, thanks.
All right, also part of the consent agenda and the personnel section of it, we have retirement Carol Burt, who is retiring. She's an art teacher with 27 years. And so we wanted to recognize that as well. Any other questions or comments about the consent agenda? I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Great. All right, we're going to move to the next item. We're going to turn it to Mr. Heater, who is the chair of our compensation committee. Before he comments, I'm just going to mention that Mr. Williams has sent me a note that said he is in complete agreement with what we're doing with the compensation. Just wanted to make sure that we understood that, even though he's not here. Mr. Heater?
Thank you. It is my pleasure to represent the comp committee this year. I'm going to go through a couple of different things. I know it was in the packet, but I think we met 3 or 4 times. So we had an opportunity to have a lot of discussion about this important item. First of all, I think everybody knows that we've been working at trying to create as much equity as we can throughout the system. We know there was a period of time where, a long period of time, where there were no changes in compensation. We've tried over the last 3 years to make a difference, and I hope we have. We're probably to the point where there's not much more we can do there, other than continue down the path of recognition. Secondly, I think we all as a district are finding that the market has having a real impact on how we can select the best candidates. It puts pressure on the staff that we have that are good, and it makes a difference in how we go out and are able to hire those special skilled teachers or those teachers in areas that frankly, there's just not a lot of teachers available. And one of the things we think was really important as a committee and as a board, I believe, is that we don't sacrifice quality because our teachers are everything to us. And then the third issue is we move forward and institute our innovation plan, is that, and you see in the proposal a little bit of funding for paying for excellence. And that's a direction that I think is a hard place to go, but it's one we have to, and that is to recognize those teachers who are truly extraordinary in a meaningful way, to recognize excellence. So that was the foundation of the conversation that we had as we worked through the compensation proposal. So I'm going to jump into that, and I do think it's important to go through it. Even though it was in your packet, I think it's important to go through it so those who maybe haven't reviewed the information that might be listening at home would see that. And I'm going to start with the teachers who are our newest teachers, 1 to 4 year teachers with us. They will receive a $6,800 base salary increase. Teachers with 5 to 10 years worth of experience will receive $7,200 worth of salary increase. And those teachers who have been with us for 5 to 10 years, with 5 of those years being with Muncie Community Schools, will get an additional $500 for a total of $7,700. Teachers with 11 to 19 years worth of experience in teaching experience will receive a $7,700 base salary increase, and those teachers who fall in that group with 5 or more years with Muncie Community Schools, again, will get an additional $500 for a total of $8,200. Teachers with 20 and more years worth of experience will receive a $6,800 base salary increase, and again, an additional $500 for those teachers who have spent 5 years or more with our system for a total of $7,300. In addition, we put a provision in there that if a teacher has been with us for 20 years, we will make sure that they get to a level of $60,000 in annual salary. A few folks who got hired right at the right time, that will affect. So those are the changes that are proposed with the teacher salaries. In addition, there is a pool of $12,000 that's been set aside to recognize Teachers of the Year in each of our buildings, and administration is working on exactly how that will be done as we move forward. And that's somewhat of a move towards paying for excellence. And we think that's really important as a committee and a board. Third, beginning teaching salaries. A beginning teacher salary in the 22-23 academic year will make $48,000. That's a change of $6,000. And just for perspective, that's 38% more than 4 years ago that we paid that our system paid a starting teacher. And I think that's significant because the job that's done out there is really, really hard, and we may not ever get to where we pay our teachers what they're worth. And I don't mean that in a bad, rotten way. I mean that in a way that the value is so great. But I think we're working really hard to try to improve where we start. In addition, I think it's important to note that these increases are significant. These aren't things that I think will continue to happen, but it is an effort to get us to where we feel like we can be to be competitive, and this is competitive. It's a total of $2.4 million, and I think it's important to make that note because that number is a big number, and that's an investment for the future. And Those dollars are available, and it is sustainable, we believe. We have analyzed that and projected. We believe that this will not create any risk for the district. And I really want to stop here and just say that really is, that thanks goes in large part to the efforts of the people that this money is rewarding. Because through your efforts as teachers, and I don't want to leave out administrators and support staff, and we'll get to that in just a minute, but through the efforts of those of you teachers, we stemmed the tide of attrition in attendance or in enrollment. We actually increased. And that is really, really key to the question we had to answer, is whether this is sustainable or not sustainable. In addition, the state legislature, as I think everybody knows, supported public education with additional funding moving forward. And that has certainly put us in a position to be able to make sure that that funding gets passed to where the rubber meets the road, which is in the classroom. So I'd like to thank those two people in particular, the legislature, but more importantly, the district. I think this is a great story, and I think we should be very proud of it. And then lastly, we will address staff salaries and administrator salaries. And as you know, in the past, we think this was important to get done. We'll do the staff this summer, and then administrators will come as we get through fall count and see where we are as we move into further into the academic year. So with that, Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion that the Compensation Committee report be adopted by the board.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you, Mr. Heater. I would like to note all of the hard work that Mr. Jerome did with that, and also Dr. K. I was on that committee, as well as Mr. Irvin, and they did the heavy lifting, and so we want to appreciate you for all the work you did. A lot of number crunching and all that business. So thank you very much. Speaking of which, Mr. Jerome, I believe you're up.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. O'Neill. I think we've got a few items in a row. The next thing we have in your board packet for board consideration and board action tonight is the item 6.02, the Food Service Management Company. This is the annual renewal with Chartwell's, the Food Service Management Company, which we have two of their reps sitting right over there in the audience, Saban and Stephanie. What we're asking the board to do tonight is approve this annual renewal. This is year 2 of a 4-year renewal that we're allowed. Otherwise, then we would go to do the large rebid process, which we did 2 years ago, right during the pandemic. In 2020 is the last time we did that. So what we're doing through here tonight has been approved by the DOE. They've approved all our processes, our paperwork that we have submitted. So the last step of it was bringing it to the school board tonight. It includes a lot of carryover from the year before of having all the children still eating free, and that's still called community eligibility. There we go, the community eligibility program. It lists on the management letter to the school board, the management fee will increase by 6% from Chartwell's. The administrative fee, it goes from 0.077 to 0.082, and the equivalent meal factor remains at $3.74. We have been able to build the cash balance quite significantly with the efforts of Muncie Schools and Chartwell's helping us out. That's how we're doing a lot of these renovations in several of our buildings. And so what we're asking tonight is the school board to make that approval for this next year.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mr. Jerome.
Okay, I'll keep going here. The next item is for the building project for Muncie Schools, and this is really the approval of legal notices. What I'd like to do here is I'll read the the three legal notices, the title of them, and then we can take that as we'll take those resolutions all at one time for approval to post the legal notices. But I wanted to first explain each one of those legal notices first, and that's before we get down into those separate resolutions that are listed 02, 03, and 04. So first off, we have the notice to the taxpayers of an additional appropriation. What this means is if you go out and sell bonds and you get a new source of funding, which in this case, a little over $5.8 million, you then have to have an approved appropriation to be able to spend that when the time comes. So that's why we have to ask for an additional appropriation. This was not part of our budget process last year. So that's why we're asking an approval to put this notice in the back of the newspaper for an additional appropriation. And at that point, we'll consider that on May 24th. That's what that's for. The second item for a legal notice is called the Notice of Hearing on a Proposed Lease. Once again, this is explaining that you could have a lease rental program to pay for these bonds, and that's what this is. Also explaining about a public hearing we would have on May 24th for this particular project, which if you remember 2 weeks ago, we explained it would be for the Muncie Central High School, some improvements at the football field, also a section at EWA, as well as trying to include some items at the Muncie Fieldhouse. The third item for the notice of legal notice was the notice of determination. That's also a legal notice that has to be put out there, just telling the public that we would be primarily interested in entering a lease rental agreement for this $5.8 million in bonds. So those are the three items we'd like to ask permission to advertise. Permission to advertise for a notice of determination of the lease, permission to advertise for the proposed lease, and permission to advertise for an additional appropriation. And that's what those are about, so that's where I'll stop there. So,
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
okay,
Motion
thank you.
carries.
I will keep going. The next thing, we have basically three resolutions in a row. And just to give you an update on how this process would work, we're still, the architects are still working diligently to prepare the bids, prepare the specs, so we can go to bid for these projects. So it's still fluid of what things may look like. They have done some preliminary renderings, which looks pretty exciting. We'll start getting some of those to the school board and the public when we're ready to show them. I can tell you that at least the landscape architects that Schmitz has working for them has been able to fit a track within the same track and football stadium area. That was a concern because our track was kind of paperclip shaped, and we wanted to be able to still play soccer and football and not have kids standing on the track when they're off the field for football. So in any event, those things are still happening. The design work is still ongoing, and you will have a chance to see those in due time when we get to that part of the process. Right now, we'll get to the resolutions determining the need for the project, and that also requires a separate vote. Also, a resolution approving the building corporation, and that is to approve. A building corporation basically holds the debt, and we then lease part of our schools to the building corporation, and then we make the payments to the building corporation, and then they make the payments to the bondholders. That's how that works. In the state of Indiana, for financing, you're limited to 2%. You can only hold 2% of your debt of your assessed valuation, and that's why the lease rental arrangement is set up, and that's why that's available to schools and any municipality on municipal bond financing. Also, we'll have the resolution approving the form of the lease. So those are the three resolutions in your packet. So really, I'm just looking for a motion to approve all those particular resolutions. Is there anything else? I know I've talked about today with Dave. Have I explained that correctly on what we would like to do tonight? We have to explain the project, approve the building corporation, and the resolution approving the form of the lease. And the form of the lease includes the maximum amount of payment. It doesn't mean that's just the way the legal attorneys have to write that. Doesn't mean you're going to pay $2.3 million every payment, but those are the way they have to write the leases. So.
I appreciate the explanation. It is complex for those of us who live in the for-profit world. Public finance is a little bit different, so I appreciate that. I think the most important thing that I took from the conversation that we had was that it is in our best interest to continue to, to fill our bucket of bondability, for lack of better terminology. Otherwise, we don't have the ability to repair and maintain buildings as we go, which we need to do that. So the complication just comes in the structure that the state requires. So
Well, and the concern that we've had as a facility committee is knowing that we went through a period of time over the last 3 years where interest rates were low and not much was going on. The pandemic happened. Next thing you know, there's extreme shortages of building materials and equipment, and inflation and interest rates now are rising. So that's something we have experienced. Baker Tilly and our attorneys thought at one time perhaps we would sell in the fourth quarter for bonds, and we might try to do that in the third quarter of 2022. The big fear is selling bonds and then having your building project, after you issue for the specs, then receive bids to where the bids would come in much higher than what you expected. So,
which is not uncommon right now.
not uncommon, and that's a pressure that we're trying to avoid by trying to do our due diligence on the front side of what we include in that project. So,
Yeah, there are some subcontractors that won't hold their price more than 15 days. So it's a challenge. So
It's a
get
challenge.
out ahead of the curve. is the
we're
way.
trying. So all we're really asking for tonight for these three resolutions is just approval, and we can take that all as one.
I think as a second reminder, if I may,
Yes.
sorry, is that what we're undertaking over the next several years is the intent and the expectation that we're going to stay within the debt service that we have had. And so I think that's an important thing for us. We may not always be able to do that, but at least in the foreseeable future, as we retire some debt, we're going to have the ability to make some of the improvements by not increasing our debt service. So
That's a correct point. 2 weeks ago, we talked about that quite a bit on the potential tax rate impact, and we're trying to do this as tax neutral as possible because we have over $7 million of principal that will be falling off our long-term debt in 2023. So that's why we're only talking about adding 5.8 million here, but knowing that we may have to add, if you have to do other projects behind it, each project stands alone. But this particular project, we're trying to do it as the most tax neutral structure that we can, so it doesn't impact as new tax burden on your taxpayers.
thank you.
Appreciate that, Mr. Jerome. It's really very helpful. This stuff is not simple. So thank you for your command of all this. Entertain a motion. I'll make the motion. Need a second.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Dr. Reynolds, maybe?
Yes, absolutely. Hey, just bringing before you tonight for informational and discussional purposes our summer learning for our staff. Again, another great opportunity for our staff to continue to grow and learn. If you take a quick look at that schedule that I provided in the packet, you'll see the majority of that geared towards literacy and CPI training, or nonviolent crisis intervention and verbal de-escalation. You'll see the bulk of the training dates dedicated to that. Additionally, you'll see Project Lead the Way, elementary and secondary math, professional development as we adopt a new series for K-12. Secondary science, we continue to partner with Ball State University and some game-based learning and our Indiana Science Initiative kits. And as always, we want to continue to grow the use of our learning management system that's engaging our kids through the Chromebooks, through Schoology, and then our new teacher orientation to wrap up the summer before we kick off the new school year. That is, those opportunities are just so crucial for our folks to get a head start and have some fresh time where folks are not burdened with everything they have to do every day. They can just try to learn and soak some of that in and get new tools for the tool bag. Dia, Dr. Bell, and the exceptional education staff put in a lot of effort on providing those opportunities. Dr. Bell had to step out. There's a track meet tonight in Noblesville, so she's trying to get down to that, cheer on our kids. But spent a lot of work with her team, and then the exceptional education office, Jenny and Emily and Sarah, for finding opportunities for out of that office as well. I think it's also important to note, if you look down there at the informational page that I provided, so all of these opportunities are grant funded, so nothing's coming out of the state coffers, I would say, to provide these opportunities for our staff. Not to say that we can always offer those, but this year we can still take advantage of our Title II and those learning loss and STEM acceleration grants that we may not always have. So open up for any discussion and clarifications from that sheet if you need any.
Dr. Reynolds, what is our expectation of participation?
Thank you.
Well, we want to make sure we get as many opportunities out there and be as flexible as possible. But we also understand that summer is a much needed time for our teachers to take a little time off and recharge. So as an example, the Faunus and Pinnell training, so if folks can't make it in that for the reboot or the refresh or the second steps of that, we will offer that during the 2-hour early release days, and our summit will offer some catch-up opportunities that are embedded through the day, through the school year. So no mandatory opportunities, but just all optional for our folks.
And our teachers do receive stipends so they, they are getting compensated if they're able to attend. So we're fortunate to be able to do that because in the past, there were times when PD was available, but it was just come and learn, and that's what your opportunity is learning. But we're glad we could compensate for time as well.
That's good.
And are all these face-to-face, or are they virtual? Are they taped?
All are face-to-face.
Face-to-face, okay.
Yeah, we're going to be busy this summer.
And then you kind of coordinated those sessions, professional development, with like the student summer thing.
Right. So some of them you'll see are just in the afternoons after the I Read 3 camp is wrapped up. So we were pretty strategic on how we could plan all those. And then sometimes there are some overlaps, and then we're just kind of running out of days. So.
If I could add, we have a staff portal through our website, and this is actually a Google document. So staff will have availability to see it. So if a location changes or some adjustments, it's done in real time so that they're aware of what's being offered.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any dialogue with the board at all?
I just would say that last Thursday was the State of the Child, and so the kids count data was out, and Dr. K was able to talk about the numbers in real time and talk about where MCS was as it relates to seeing improvement and growth in our district. So that was very exciting to be a part of that, and then to honor one of our own students and family, Zachariah Jones and his mother, just knowing that they wanted to see, again, data brought to life, right? And so Zachariah is a senior at Muncie Central. He'll graduate and go to Ball State to study music education, but he comes from a family, he has 8 other siblings, and their mother is single, raising all of these kids. And so it really was amazing to be able to see all the community supports, all the educational supports that the village were able to wrap around this family so that all the adversities and challenges they kind of are able to overcome some of those. So it's really cool to hear him. And he's so animated that
Yeah.
it's just, he stole the show at the end. But no, really just highlighting the work that we've been doing and what you all have done. So thank you to all the staff and
We should
teachers and
get
faculty.
Zachariah to come,
Yeah,
and
I
the
think
same
we should.
speech that he did, we should have him do
We should.
that
That would be great.
to the board one night.
He can do that.
He's an inspiration for all of us, isn't he?
Yes, he really is.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was literally going to talk about that summit. Latasha, myself, Dr. K were all able to be there. And to say that he was a phenomenal speaker is an understatement. I think he could have gotten up there and read the phone book to us and we'd have been entertained. I mean, he's just a great speaker. So I was really excited to hear him and also hear that a lot of the things that we're doing, we're really being proactive in a lot of the things they were expressing needed to happen throughout the state. So that was exciting to hear. And then I also want to just speak to the teacher compensation piece of it. As Dave said, we probably could never pay teachers enough for the work that we know they're doing day in and day out. I know this has probably been one of the hardest years in education. So I think I speak for everyone when I say we're really excited to be able to do a raise of this magnitude. I can't in my lifetime ever recall a raise this size. So I'm really excited to be a part of that. It's great. And I just hope that teachers know how much we truly appreciate you guys. We know what's happening in classrooms and we know the work that's going in every day. So we hope this shows just a little fraction of our appreciation because we really do value you.
Yeah, I want to just echo exactly what you said. Oftentimes, this is one of the tools that we have available, and we've gotten in a position to be able to do what we have done. But we know this is just a little bit in terms of being appreciative of all the things that the teachers are doing. My parents were educators. My mom been retired now 25 years. It's unbelievable. But I lived in a house with two educators, and so and it's been 30 or 40 years ago when I was younger. Yeah. So things are quite a bit more challenging now than they were then. So kudos to all the teachers, and I just hope they feel that. That's the thing. I know they'll see it in their budgets, but we do really, really appreciate all the work that they're doing. Everybody in the whole school system, thank you. All right. There's no media here. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's moved in second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have a great night.
It's official.
With authority.
Good to see you, Jim.
Yeah, you too. Take care.